Boom. I'm leading the show. Boom. Perfect.
Okay, so boom. Here's the topic. Does body count matter?
No, it does not.
Body count does not matter.
It does not.
Let me know.
It doesn't matter because people want people to have experience. 8 times out of 10.
8 times out of 10.
Because
good
like
ratio.
people are like, oh, I want to be with somebody that knows how to like get down. Like I can brag about it to my friends or whatever.
Yeah, give them that good dick review.
Exactly. So if you're not good, they're gonna trash you.
Okay.
So.
So your standpoint is, right, you need some miles on the road. You know what I mean? You need a test drive. You need to understand where the road's going, where it needs to lead to. Unfortunately, right?
I only say that because, again, people will get trashed.
And that's unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
Because you can only do your best out here in these streets. You know what I mean? And sometimes your best isn't good enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes your best isn't good enough. What else makes body count not count? Makes it not important. So I get what you're saying, right? Experience needed. Experience needed. But you can have experience with just one person.
Yeah.
You can also gain them miles with just one person. So is there another reason why body count?
Other than experience, I mean, like, the only thing people should be focused on is making sure you're STD free. That's the only thing.
Yeah, be safe.
Because they should be wondering, like, okay, when's the last time you got tested?
Right.
Nobody should be like, yo, how many people have you had sex in the last month with?
Yeah.
You know?
Because first of all, that is probably the most problematic question you can ask somebody.
Yeah.
Like, okay, first of all, I'm guilty. I am guilty. I've done it before. Did I like my answer? Not necessarily. But that was my fault.
Yeah.
That was none of my business. I shouldn't have asked that question in the first place. I should have left that alone. There's some things that need to be known. There's known unknowns.
Yeah.
I'd rather that be one of those.
Yeah.
I don't need to know.
Exactly.
Well, these days I don't need to know. When I was insecure, I needed to know.
I mean, just think about it like this. When you find out, you look at somebody differently. You don't mean to.
You don't mean to.
But you're going to be like, damn.
But see, that's the thing. That's my point. That's what I'm getting at, right? If body count absolutely didn't matter when you find out, why is that reaction, that instant reaction?
To me, it doesn't make sense. Because, like,
it's like a paradox almost, right?
Yeah.
Because in your intellectual mind, you're like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But then when it comes down to it, when you hear it, you know what I mean?
It's just,
sometimes opinions change.
Yeah. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not going to sit there asking somebody. Okay, but maybe I have.
We've all had.
Maybe I have. I probably have. I can't remember.
Have.
But I don't know. Like, since I've grown, I'm just like.
Leave that one alone.
Exactly.
Leave that one alone. So I know what I should say, right? I know exactly what I should say to be popular. I know what's politically correct. Okay, I'm self-aware. I know that I should probably say something along the lines of absolutely not. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to boom it. Okay. I think to me it does matter. Because just like anything else, right? Things are indicators of your character, right?
Okay.
So for instance, if you have a dirty room, you might say this person might be lazy. He might be dirty based off his room, right? If somebody maybe has bad hygiene, maybe they don't respect themselves. You know what I mean? Action and character, you know, they're kind of linked. No matter what you do in life, those two things are linked because it's an indicator of your character.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, when you're with somebody, you're always trying to figure out their character. And you're doing that because you're trying to find them red flags. You know what I mean?
I do.
You want to save your time, your energy. You know, you don't want to waste it on the wrong person. So on one hand, yes, body count shouldn't matter. But sometimes it's an indicator of maybe something that's behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Maybe there's some trauma, right, associated. I was just thinking that led to hypersexuality. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've been through things in my childhood that led to hypersexuality.
Same.
So it's just one of those things where, like, because I know when I see it in somebody else, I'm like, I know. Not all the time though.
Not all the time, no.
Because hypersexuality is ranges, different.
It's a spectrum.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's be honest here. You know, you said that you mingled with hypersexuality. You were hypersexual. If you could boil it down, why was that? If you could boil it down.
Why I've dealt with it?
Yeah, no, I mean, not necessarily that, but like in for instance, right? What do you think, if you could boil it down, what was the reason why that you were going through with sleeping with different people?
Oh, well, I mean, trauma, childhood.
Right?
Yeah. So I went through some stuff when I was younger. But I'd like to think that my hypersexuality is mild on the spectrum rather than chronic, or, you know, somebody that's like a nympho or something like that. I've had this conversation on Facebook where people should think about what they're saying when it concerns like people that sleep around, rather than calling them hoes or whores or something.
What's behind the scenes?
Yeah, like think about it.
Yeah.
You know, and personally, I don't have a high body count. But yeah, I'm like, sex. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because let's be honest, sex is great, right? So for you to be demonized for enjoying that, right? It kind of sucks, right? Exactly. Nobody wants to be judged, right? It's a tricky waters, you know. It's hard to navigate because oftentimes people get super duper offended.
Yeah.
For me personally, I look down on myself. When I look at my body count, right, I don't feel good about it, right? And that's why me personally, right, I don't have the grounds to judge a woman, but I can judge myself. Okay. When I think of my body count, I'm not very proud, and I have shame. But sometimes somebody else might not. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And that brings me to another question. What is a high body count? Because I feel like there's everybody has a different version of what a high body count is. What is the rule? What is the measuring tool?
So, from what I read online, if you're over 10 as a woman, then you are a gutter trash tramp. You are a hussy.
I think that's way below average.
I agree.
In 2020, that's way below average. Maybe in like 1861, that was like something crazy.
Yeah.
But 2020, 10. That's like, what you doing?
Which is wild though, because back in the day they were doing, you know, there's some...
I think they might have been doing their thing, but you got to understand, man, if you wanted the buns, you had to like get on horseback. You need to travel through like the forest just to get some buns. You know what I mean? Like, and there's only so many buns in your area. You got to understand, you were living in a village, bro. Like, you didn't have access to buns like that.
Yeah.
You could order buns off the same phone that you order Domino's.
True.
You know what I mean?
That's so true.
I think I've asked myself this constantly, and I think I got it. I think I got a measuring tool.
Okay.
I think for both men and women, right? Okay. A high body count is anything that is higher than your daddy's age.
Okay.
Is that fair? Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty fair, right?
Yeah.
Because it moves.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It gives you leverage.
Yeah.
Right? Your daddy was 30.
Yeah.
But now your daddy 56. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
is this the new measuring? I think that's pretty fair.
I mean, like, and you know what? Even if you're like on 100, if you're the fucking, I'm gonna call it a crypt keeper, or the guardian to purgatory, because you snatch your soul.
Right.
Whatever you got, that's what you got.
That's what you got.
But I mean, I feel like don't be ashamed of it. But everybody, like you said, everybody's different.
Everybody's different. Everybody's
So-
different. Another thing for me, people get into habits, right?
Yeah.
When you do something enough, it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And so sometimes for me, when I look at a high body count, I ask myself, okay, so you were for the streets, right? But now we're committed.
Okay.
But how fast is it for you to turn? How fast is it for you to go from I'm free hoeing? Because you still got them contacts.
Okay.
You still have those text messages coming through.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I would love to think that it's a freaking stop, cold turkey. But I don't think that that's happening out here. I really don't think that it's happening as much as people love to go on social media and say, not me. I can go from the club to commitment overnight.
Yeah.
Jonathan's still texting you at 2 a.m. Okay? Like, that's one of those things. So if somebody were to be like, you have a high body count and I feel like I can't necessarily trust you. This is a woman talking to me. I would be like, fair. That's fair.
No, why?
You don't think that's fair?
I don't.
Because maybe maybe she might think I don't value commitment.
No.
You don't think so?
I feel like they're two separate entities. When you are single, do what you will.
Right.
But when you're in a relationship, I mean, if you can't trust the fact that somebody's going to stop doing something,
Maybe
again,
you shouldn't be. Maybe you shouldn't even be. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't
because
even be there.
That, I mean, like, that's the whole premise of a relationship is to trust one another, loyalty, faithfulness, and all that.
I'm glad that you brought this up, right? So, with that being said, should somebody be demonized because they do value the body count? Meaning that the same way that you want to be respected for having that body count, the other person should also be respected to say, hey, you know what? I'm good on that hundo.
The only issue is when people shame one another. That is the only issue.
Right. You could make your internal judgments, but leave it there.
Leave it there.
Leave it there.
Don't open your face.
No.
To talk out of your neck because you're upset or you don't agree with what somebody else did.
You
or
got
you
a
know
little emotional. You got a little hurt. Yeah.
Like it just pisses me off with the shaming. Like, have your views.
Don't slut shame.
Don't slut shame. Like, because it has nothing. Just because I didn't sleep around doesn't mean that I gotta give a fuck what Jessica's doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let Jessica do what she wants.
Exactly. That's just how I think about it, because we have too many people in this world.
They get in everybody's business, right?
Exactly.
They're in the comment sections. You know what I mean? They're going to Melissa, like, yo, did you hear?
Yeah.
Yo.
What that got to do with you, though?
Yeah. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't.
So,
does body count matter? Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Because like we said before, we would love to sit here and say it doesn't.
Yeah.
But once you hear that answer,
yeah.
I would love to ask this of every person. And this is another reason how I know body count matters. It does.
Okay.
It's politically incorrect, but it does matter. Okay. Because if you were to ask most men in the United States, which would he rather have? A woman with a body count of 15 or 50?
Definitely 15. I feel like.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
It's newer times.
But it's also different from a man and a woman, though, right? Because I feel like for men, we get hella emotional about that body count. Hella emotional.
Oh
I'm not gonna lie. I get emotional about the body count.
What?
But you want to know why I get emotional about the body count?
Why?
Because if a woman has had so many bodies, right? There's a lot of experiences. She's seen a plethora of penises. She's had the best and the worst. It's all in the spectrum.
Yeah.
So where do I fall in that spectrum? Hear me out. What I'm trying to say is that if you really love somebody, you're committed, you want to put your all into them. You want to give them the best that they ever had.
Absolutely.
But if they've already had it all, then I kind of feel like, what do I have left to give the person? And not only that, maybe I can never please the person like they've been pleased in the past. And for me, that kills me.
I understand.
That keeps me up at night.
I can understand that. I feel like I've had concerns about that as well. But then it's just like,
gotta let it go.
This is a new thing right here. I like you. And so with me, I don't like that person anymore. So I'm no longer thinking about what me and Josh did. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm thinking about what me and Andrew did. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what? I had sex before?
Right. Yeah. So basically, move on. If you're with the person, be with the person. If you don't want to be with the person because of the body count, keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
We're doing a survey around the country on the way population handles themselves and speaks and deals with their friends and interact with their peers.